Story goes back over a century. The original Joe's restaurant, which was the predecessor to the Joel Palmer House, was in Reading, Pennsylvania. It was started by my great grandparents back in 1916. It was a Polish man's tavern serving Polish food to Polish people, and a lot of Polish cuisine revolves around wild mushrooms. And well, frankly, anything they could hunt or forage, Poland being a country surrounded by enemies for thousands of years. So they did their thing. My grandparents took over in the late 40s, 1950s, and infused their knowledge of Polish cooking and mushrooms with French fine dining. They were the big Francophiles. My grandfather would write letters to French chefs for tips and recipes. In 1975, when my parents took over, instead of committing to being just a fusion Polish French restaurant, they said, let's be a mushroom restaurant. That way we can use all of these elements, but then use elements from all around the world. Because after all, mushrooms are cooked with in all parts of the globe. Simultaneously, having met in California, they were also in love with wine and had always dreamt of having a wine country restaurant. So at the recommendation of a family friend that came to check out Oregon, realized that there was a budding wine industry here. And while everybody else was complaining about rain, they said, aha, that's mushroom sunshine. That's what makes the mushrooms grow. So they followed their noses, came out here in 96, found the property, which is a historical building, and then opened in 1997. So after I finished my enlistment in the Army, started in full time in 2006, bought the restaurant in 2008. And two of the most common questions I got were, A, are you going to keep the mushroom theme? And I said, absolutely. I've got 3 generations of knowledge and experience to learn, to lean on. And when are you going to get some non-Oregon wines on your list? And I was like, what, are you crazy? Thousands of people from all over the world come to Oregon to taste Oregon wine. Why would I want to sell them something that they could get from any other restaurant, buying from distributors all over the world? We have access to older wines. We have access to wines that aren't even released outside the state. And, because we've been here so long and focused just on Oregon, we've built some really phenomenal relationships with winemakers and owners. And that gets us access to older wines that have been given an opportunity to rest and age in the cellar for a while.